In this podcast, let's talk about pleasure and its relation with freedom. It's a very simple concept, in fact, universal concept, but at the same time, because it represents a manifold, it's very difficult to interpret all the meanings of this concept. In any case, when we say the word pleasure, everybody can understand something. So the idea is the following. Imagine the negation of the pleasure. So imagine that we are talking about barbarity and, of course, dogma, religion, and tradition against the notion of pleasure. Maybe it's not obvious that this hedonophobia is in fact a way to target freedom, because in reality the pleasure for pleasure exists only in some theories, but not really in practice. Never mind, imagine that it exists also in practice. The idea is the following. The pleasure is the starting point of a path which permits what? The access to the joy. And this joy is related to harmony. So in fact, we have pleasure, joy, harmony. Maybe sometimes perfection. But in any case, pleasure, as it's not a target for itself, in reality is the beginning to the access to freedom. So pleasure is related in fact to liberation, and liberation will be the previous step of freedom. It's very difficult to understand this because we are living in many societies and religions that they are afraid of the impact of pleasure, but in reality they know that pleasure is related to freedom. So they want to control pleasure because they want to control their slaves. Slavery is compatible with peace, but not with freedom. Pleasure is not exactly compatible with slavery. So we can imagine that there is a problem. So they want slavery, they want to control everything, and as pleasure is the beginning of a process of liberation, it's a way to control this. So when you have societies, religions against pleasure, in fact, you have to imagine that they are against freedom and against the access to freedom, and this freedom is the freedom of humanity. So in reality, when their target is the pleasure and its negation, in reality, their secret aim is to hurt humanity and to avoid the problem of freedom. So imagine that to take pleasure is the first step to be free. So use it, because in reality is an act of resistance to barbarity.